To start off with cutting felt, I have a brand new standard mat here. And what I've done is I've applied a brand new high-tack fabric support sheet. These are the light blue sheets that came snuck kind of sneaky like behind your mats. And when you apply this, what you'll want to do is take the glossy side, place it down onto a brand new fresh standard mat, and basically put it tack to the glossy side down and just press it in. And you'll see that I've already done that here. And sometimes you'll get a little bit of bubbles. What I like to do and what I recommend is just taking like a old cap. You can get some of those out. And I've already done that majority here just to get some of these out. Because it's nice and round and flat and has an edge that can push, it gets a lot of those bubbles out. You don't have to get them all out, just a lot of the big ones. Now that I have that done, I'm going to take the blue release paper off, remove it, and now I have a super high tack support. You can see it's really sticks. This is what works really great for cutting felt fabric and more just more sturdier things. Now to prep my mat, because it is really sticky, I'm just going to take some fabric. In this case, I'm going to take a little bit of felt and just add a little bit of lint to it so that when it's cutting, or actually once it has cut out my design doesn't get stuck to it. This will help for kind of create a little bit of matness onto my mat to where it'll still hold down my fabric, but will make it to where it's easily released off. All right, and I have a little bit of ribbon on here, or a little bit of yarn. I just want to take that off, and there we go. Okay, so now we can load whatever different material we're going to use. In this case, for this, I have a lot of different types of felt kind of materials, and I just wanted to show them to you because since not all felts are the same, I want to show you what type of felt and fabrics that are near felt you can be able to use. So here are just some felts that are off the rack. These are just cut, what are they, like 9 by 11 or 8.5 by 11 sheets. You can see there's some are textured. You'll see some are flocked. I've been able to cut with great success with these. You'll just have to test the settings. You can go off of the base settings that we'll be working with here, vary it up or down a little bit. I always suggest starting a little bit lower with your blade depth and working your way up. A little test cuts doesn't hurt anybody. It really just helps. So these are just regular pieces of felt. Again, some that have been heat pressed with the design or flocked. You'll see this felt here is a little bit more sturdy. This has been heat pressed so that it actually has melted a little bit, so it's really nice and stiff. And here we have some wool felt by the yard, 20% wool felt. This is cut beautifully, especially if you like wool felting. Some of these materials are just gorgeous. And this is 35% wool felt here. I've also cut some flannel. This is great for your kids' jammies and doing some applique on them. And then again, this is just regular square stuff. And then this is just craft felt. So if you don't find on the rack in the squares or in the rectangles the felt that you like, then you can go to the bolts and get what you like there. So that gives you some different opportunities as far as you understand. I've also cut 100% wool felt, so the wool felt that does have some depth to it and just has that spring to it. I can't think of the word right now off the top of my head, but you know what I'm talking about. It's right off the bolts. I'll see if I can find some real quick. But yeah, that stuff has even been able to cut really well. Alright, so I was able to find the 100% wool felt. And you can see just the kind of depth that it has. It still isn't matted quite so much, so it's not felted. I have used Weeks wool, which is a little bit more what I want to say, I guess felted. It's a really nice thick wool. But this stuff here is great because you could always dye it. This is sold by the yard. It's just some great stuff, but it does cut really beautifully. And then on top of that, I just had some fleece too. So again, just some ideas for you to be able to cut with. So this is regular craft felt, and I have done my test cut, and I found my settings that work for me. And again, depending on the intricacy of your design, or the type of fabric you're using, because not all felts are the same, you'll want to vary your settings depending on your surface as well as design. For this felt, again, regular craft felt, and we're going to just do a flower, which is pretty simple. We are going to use a blade depth of 8. We have a cut pressure of 5 and a cut speed of 1. When working with really intricately kind of woven materials like this, because this is more matted, a matte kind of woven kind of material, I want to make sure that I give my blade enough time to process rather than speeding through it. So let's go into patterns. I have my stylus here, and grab a flower, and let's see, let's grab this one. This one's pretty. And we'll just size it down a little bit. Okay. And there we go. So this will be a nice indicator too. If the design is too intricate, then you might want to go a little bit deeper. That way some of the more intricate lines, more of the curves, can get cut. Or you can even just run a second pass too. But be careful with running those second passes, because sometimes if you've cut completely your outline of one part of your design, that can start to cut into your mat. All right. Okay. And let's just get in here. Let's take off the negative first. That always works well. And then and here we go. And here is beautiful, kind of just gorgeous cut flower. And I like this flower because it has a little bit more detail and a little bit more intricacy. Let me get some color back here so you can actually see just how wonderful and nice, and just how nice and detailed it gets for you to see there. So what we're going to do now is cut flowers out of a lot of different colors, a lot of different types of felt, as well as different designs for our purse. I have all of my flowers cut out, and these flowers are just, I want to say, just about 2 inches, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more. The centers are at about 3/4 of an inch, and then these are at about, the leaves are about 1 inch. And we have our purse here. Now this purse did start off completely black. You'll see it was completely black. And I actually got it on the clearance rack for a couple bucks. And the purse itself, like I said, was completely black. Because the felt, I didn't feel that it popped enough on the black. Actually, it does look really nice, but if you've seen any of my videos before, you know I can't stop with glitter. So this is actually something to where I do feel like I put too much glitter, and then I had to scrub some off. And then in order to, so basically what I'm trying to say is I covered it with just a coat of glitter spray, and then I sprinkled on some turquoise glitter, and that was too much glitter. So then I sat here and scrubbed it all off. Couldn't get it all off, so to salvage it, what I did is I took black ink pad and a stamp, and I just took the wheel and stamped around it to kind of break up the glitter a little bit. So This will be one of those times where you hear me say, I think I used too much glitter. But we're going to salvage it, and by doing that, we broke it up with the black ink. Now what we're going to do is place our flowers, and we're going to place it and glue them down with fabric glue. So here is our finished felt purse. You can see this came as it is, just a really nice cute little purse. And we added some felt cut flowers as well as the glittered and stamped background, and just used some fabric glue to glue down the flowers. You could even add stitching or some hand embroidered or even some machine embroidered around if you'd like to do that. One thing too that I thought of as I bought this was that I actually bought an extra that I can take apart so that I can cut it out and make a pattern so that I can continue to make more felted or quilted purses as I like. So yeah, there's just a fun idea for either a kid's party favor or just, gift for a little girl.